This is Meteo Mundo.
Hi everyone, Rusty back here with your latest Meteo Mundo video. This is going to be your Tropical Storm Tammy update for the Thursday 11 p.m. advisory from the National Hurricane Center. This is going to be a bit more of an abbreviated video, but I wanted to come back on, make this video for you so you got the newest information as of the 11 p.m. advisory. And there are a few things to talk about with this new advisory as well. You are looking at the track from the Hurricane Center. You're looking at the statistics of Tammy as of the 11 p.m. advisory. So we'll start with that. There really hasn't been much change from Tammy really since this morning. Winds are still 60 miles an hour. It is beginning to slow down west-northwest at 10. The pressure stays steady at 1,001 millibars. Let's take a look at Tammy and what it looks like late on this Thursday evening. We are beginning to see the signs of kind of a redevelopment phase in Tammy. We're seeing storms develop on the northwest side. This was an area that was devoid of any strong thunderstorms or winds most of Thursday, but now we're beginning to see that flare up on the northwest side. That should wrap back around the center. It hasn't yet spelled a stronger Tammy, but this could be the signs that we could start to go under a strengthening phase as we get into Friday morning. And the forecast from the Hurricane Center has that. And as a matter of fact, one of the updates is to make Tammy stronger quicker. That is the bad piece of news from the 11 p.m. advisory. A subtle track shift east is a slightly better piece of news. Again, these are just forecast tracks, but that's the new information to pass along as of the 11 p.m. advisory. Tammy will still be moving through about 30 degrees Celsius water, and all still looks to be on track for Tammy to strengthen. Now, the slower movement of Tammy is depicted in the track from the Hurricane Center. So it really looks like now we will be talking about tropical storm conditions for the northern Windward Islands throughout Friday. But you notice as we get into early on Saturday, as we get just north of Guadalupe, now we have that Category 1 hurricane from the National Hurricane Center. So the potential for portions of the Leeward Islands based on the 11 p.m. advisory to see at least high-end tropical storm, if not hurricane conditions on Saturday, now through the majority of the Leeward Islands with that slower track and quicker development of hurricane force winds. But again, the good piece of news is that I know it's subtle, but this track is slightly east of the 5 p.m. advisory. And we hope that's a trend, that we try and take Tammy east of the islands, keeping the core winds and heaviest rain away from the islands, because the slower movement of Tammy could also lead to even heavier rainfall as well. And I've mentioned and I've shown you the GFS model for the last several days. The Hurricane Center is trying to nudge Tammy east to get more in line with the GFS. The GFS may be a far east outlier and too far east, but we'll take any track shift east that we can get. Now, I'm going to go over the watches and the warnings for the 11 p.m. advisory, but let me say this. These are quickly changing, and they'll continue to change as Tammy approaches. You should check in with your local government for the latest watches and warnings in your area. But as of the 11 p.m. advisory, we have a hurricane watch in effect for Guadalupe, Antigua and Barbuda, Montserrat, St. Kitts and Nevis, Anguilla, St. Martin, and St. Bartholomew. Tropical storm warnings are in effect for Dominica and the same areas that I just mentioned. So most of those islands outside of Dominica are under both tropical storm warnings and a hurricane watch. Tropical storm watches continue for Barbados, Martinique, and Sabia, and St. Eustatius. So again, islands in general, you're looking at tropical storm conditions for the northern Windward Islands tomorrow, and then tropical storm and potential hurricane conditions for the Leeward Islands on Saturday. I can show you the GFS model real quick, and I've been again showing you this the last several days. Let me switch over to that for you real quick, and then we'll put that into motion. Again, the GFS model has always been slightly east of the island. So the Hurricane Center had the stronger solution of the GFS model the last 2 days, but farther west towards the islands where the weaker models were bringing a weaker but more direct impact Tammy to the islands. Now again, slight shift east. This GFS model really hasn't changed, okay? You can still see that the core of Tammy is just to the east of the islands. And again, that would keep the strongest winds, the potential hurricane force winds, and the heaviest rainfall to the east of the islands. I'm going to show you the winds on this GFS product as well. And again, you're going to see, I got to switch to the right product here. There we go. You're going to see that these winds, again, are significant. They are at least high-end tropical storm, if not low-end hurricane. These are wind gusts, but you can see that core, and I mean, they are scraping the far eastern islands of the Leeward Islands, including Antigua and Barbuda. Obviously, the farther east that you go, you're a little bit closer to those core winds. You can see that as I zoom in a little bit here. And again, the timing might be a little bit slower now. This might be throughout the day on Saturday in the Leeward Islands and throughout the day on Friday for the northern Windward Islands. So again, I want to talk real quick about the impacts. Not much has changed. I'm just going to read these out this time. Again, this is officially from the Hurricane Center. Official messaging from them. For the northern Windward Islands, it's 2 to 4 inches of rain with a maximum of 6 inches. The Leeward Islands, 4 to 8 inches of rain with a maximum of 12. For the British and U.S. Virgin Islands and eastern Puerto Rico, it's 1 to 2 inches of rain with a maximum of 4 inches. Some of that rain could obviously cause isolated flash flooding and urban flooding and potential isolated mudslides in some of the higher terrain. Those rainfall totals, especially for the Leeward Islands, have gone up a tick, again, based on the slower potential track of Tammy, but we hope to keep the core winds out. Obviously, storm surge, surf, rough surf and sea conditions will come with this as well. So again, for the 11 p.m. advisory, Tammy still has winds of 60 miles an hour. Moving west-northwest, should forecast to slow up a little bit as it approaches the northern Windward Islands through on Friday. And then again, the track from the Hurricane Center as of this 11 p.m. advisory is slightly east, subtly east from the 5 p.m. advisory. But again, small shifts in track could have huge impacts to what we see in the islands. And a track east is a good thing because the strongest winds and the heaviest rain will be along the center and east of the center of Tammy. So let's try and get that core to stay off towards the east. But also, again, a little bit more quicker development with Tammy potentially now becoming a hurricane as it moves into the Leeward Islands and potential hurricane impacts for portions of the Leeward Islands on Saturday. We'll continue to keep you updated here at Meteo Mundo as we go through Friday and into the weekend as well. So look for our newest videos and also look for us going live streaming as well to give you that newest information. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for liking and subscribing as well. And we'll see you next time right here.